So let's go a little bit more thorough on list. Okay. All right. All right. List is a sequential collection of Python objects. Okay. And that each value basically identified by an index. Okay. So there are some properties to list. Okay. It's one of the basic sequence type like tuples and ranges. List has elements, and those are basically the building blocks of the list. So they are sitting inside. Okay. So data values inside are elements, and lists are heterogeneous, which means the items inside can have different types. So if you compare it with the string, strings are homogeneous. All the entities are characters. So they are all string type. But in a list, they can be any Python object. Like I said, so element can be a sublist as well. So we call it nesting. All right, so let's go over to see the ways we can create a list. We can create an empty list by using the two square brackets. Okay, so in Python, we use list two square brackets to represent lists. Okay, so we can create an empty list by using simply two square brackets. Okay, and we can create a list with values by simply enclosing the things that we want to put in the list as a comma separated items inside square bracket. We can use the list class method, which is the list built-in method. Okay, so we can use that method and pass any sequence or any iterable object into list method and create a list out of items those that were in the iterable. Okay. All right. So the last method of list creation is list comprehensions. So we're going to learn soon in this lesson on that. Okay. So let's test this out. Okay. So I have an empty list over here. So I'm creating that one. So like like we did earlier, I have pre-formatted the file I want, so to save time. All right, so this is the list that I want to create. So I'm gonna print that. Okay, so simply enclosing the item that I want. Okay, and basically I am creating a list out of range, and I am creating a list out of a string. Basically, this will return the numbers inside the range, and this will return the characters inside the string. Okay, so let's run this. All right, so go up. Okay, so it's an empty list, and I created this list. Okay, and for the range 4, I got this list, and passing code into list function, I got this list. So let's move on. Okay, this can be nested as well. That means another list that there can be a sub list inside a bigger one. Okay, so for example, right here, this list is a sub list, okay, or nested list. So this is called a sub list. It's just another element of the list. So there's no limit to this process nesting. Okay. All right. So let's check on that as well. Okay. So all right, so let me go over here and quickly grab that list. Okay. So I have this. All right. So now I'm going to basically print it over here. And so this is the second element. So 0, 1, 2. So this is the second element. So I'm printing that. Okay. So let's print the second element. Okay. And run it. So slide 4. Right. So I have the list that I created and the second element. Okay. All right. So let's go. Okay. All right. So over here. All right. So we already talked about the length of a list under sequences. Let's quickly go over. So basically, we can use the length len built-in method to find the length of the list, a list. So that means basically how many items do we have in the list. So it returns the number of items in the list. So in this case, we have 5 things. 1, 2, and this sublist is the third item, 4, 5. So it returns 5. So that means sublists are taken as single entity. Okay. And we know that len also works other sequences as well. Okay. So let's check this out. Okay. So okay. So it's slide 6. So I have this. Okay. So I want to find the length of this list. Okay. All right. So quickly run it. Okay. So the length is 5. Okay. All right. Let's continue. So given a list, how can we access the element inside? Okay. So you already know that we use indexing for that. And then in Python, it works either way. So left to right. Also right to left also possible. Okay. So left to right start from 0. Right to left start from -1. Okay. So here's how it works. So I have this py and this list and each item separated by a column. Okay. So this is positive index. So Python is 0, 2.5 is the first number 1 element, first element, and 3 is the second element. So the element with index 2 is 3. Okay. So if we write like this, if we access like this, py1, so we'll get 2.5 return, which is this value. Okay. This is the 0th index, first index. Okay. So if we take negative indexes, -1 index is 3, -2 index is 2.5, and -3 index is Python. Okay. So for example, py -1 returns 3. So let's check this out as well. Okay. So it's slide number 6. Okay. So I have, this is my string. Okay. All right. So I'm going to access the first element. And here I'm going to access the negative one element. Okay, and let's try this one first. Okay, all right. So we have 2.5 and 3. Okay, so the next one is basically when we have a sublist. Okay, you can also continue the same formation into access the elements in the sublist as well. Okay, so like this. So this is a sublist I have inside 3 5, and it's happened to be the 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 element 2 exists me in my list. So that means the index 1. So this is this sublist, and I'm accessing the zeroth index of that, which is happened to be this. So I get 3. Okay. So let's check that out as well. Okay. So I am going to print this. Okay. All right. Let's run it again. All right. I got 3. Let's continue. All right. Membership. We already learned how to check the membership in a sequence. Same applies here as well. Okay. So let's quickly go over. You can use in and not in operators. Both returns a Boolean value. For example, given this list and phi in Li returns false because we don't have 5 as a single element in this list. It is an element of a sublist, okay, but we are checking immediate membership of 5, okay. And if we try not in, then it returns true, okay. So let's check that out as well. So I have the list and I'm checking this one, okay. So phi not in list, and then sorry, in list, and then phi not in list. All right, so let's run it. All right, phi in list it's false, phi not in list true. Okay. All right, so next topic is how to iterate a list, and it's similar to iterating a sequence. Okay, so there are two ways to iterate your for loop. One is element by element iteration. Okay, so here's the syntax for each element in the list, and then we do something. Okay, so this is the iteration part. Okay, code. Okay, all right, so let's see a simple example. Okay, so for words in sorted Python, so basically sorted is a built-in method that it can sort things that we pass. So if we pass any iterable over here and sorted basically sort it and create a new list. So sorted returns a list. Okay. In general, sorted returns a list. Okay, so I'm basically iterating that list over here. So I'm simply printing words. In this case, not words, it's gonna be letters printed. Okay. All right. So let's go check that out as well. Okay. So it's slide number 8. Okay. So I have the for loop and passing Python and then sorted returns a list and I'm iterating that list. Okay. So I'm expecting all the letters to be printed. Okay. And I got that. Okay. So let's go back. Excuse me. All right. So the other way of iterating is basically index wise iteration, index by index. Okay. So indexes are integer numbers, and we use in Python, we use ranges to create these indexes. Okay. All right. So the syntax is for indexes in range, and if we are going over entire list, then we have to basically use the length of the list and create our range. Otherwise, it can be less than that. Okay. And then we iterate the thing that we need to do. Okay. So as an example, so I have this list, and basically I am printing powers of this this list. Basically, the items inside the list, I'm taking uh, power 2. Okay. All right. So let's check this out as well. Okay. Slide number 9. So I have the list. Okay. And I'm basically, I want to create the powers of second power of these numbers. Okay. All right. So let's run the, okay. So I have the answer right here. Okay. I got the powers list as a list. Excuse me. So let's go continue. So the next way of iteration is true while loop. Okay. So for while loop, we need to create this Boolean expression. Usually to create that Boolean expression, the while loop Boolean expression, we need another sort of helper variable. Okay. So in this case, the count. Okay. And then basically inside the loop, we need to increment the count so that at one point we can, at every loop iteration, we can update this Boolean expression. Okay. All right. So let's see an example. So I have this list and count is 0. Basically, I'm printing the values inside that list. Okay. So let's go check that as well. Okay. So slide number 10, I have the list and the count. This is the initialization of count. Okay. And notice at the very beginning, count is 0, which is less than the length of this list. So basically we go inside and print the count. Okay. So in the first iteration, basically we print this element. Okay. And then we increment the count and move on. And at one point, this count going to be not, basically it's going to be not less than the length of the list, at which point the Python will not go into the inside loop. Okay. So let's check. Let's go on, move on. Okay. All right. So let's do some practice with list. Okay. So given any list, write a Python function named getSum to return the sum of all the numbers in the list using a for loop. For example, given this list, your function must return 6.5. Okay. So let's go do a simple, real quick understand process for this. Okay. All right. So I have copied down the problem over here. Okay. So the input is basically a list. Okay. Okay. So given any list. Okay. So our first job has to be, we need to clear this what been asked and what's been given. Okay. So basically what's been given is the input. So that's a list. Okay. And then basically output is basically we need to get the sum of the numbers inside. Okay. So return the sum of all numbers. Okay. So I'd say sum of all the numbers. Okay, that's the output. Okay, all right. So let's take this example. Okay, so example, this is our understand process. Okay, okay. So this is our example. So definitely we need to iterate. So this is an accumulation problem. We are summing up each value to the next. But the problem is the list is heterogeneous, so it doesn't have all the numbers. So we cannot, after we add sum up to this, we cannot add these because it doesn't make any sense. So we need to leave the non-number items. Okay. So how do we do that? So we can write now, okay, so X need to exclude, okay, okay, could non-numbers. Okay. So the question is how? Okay. Now basically we need to check the type, right? So we need to check the type whether it's not a float or not an integer. So those are the two types, basically two numeric types. So we need to check whether the list item it's a number, it's an integer or it's a floating point number. Okay. So if that is the case, basically we take into account and add it. Okay. Otherwise we need to leave it. Okay. Excuse me. So let's say now if we take a good look, we have a built-in function for that. The function is actually is instance. Okay. So we can use, so basically need to check types. Okay. And exclude. Okay. Exclude non-integer types, non-numeric type. Okay. All right. So match basically string iteration, any accumulation problem. Okay. Iteration accumulation. Okay. So let's write the plan. So data is basically a list. Okay. So we're gonna get a list. And second, okay, we are calculating a sum. Okay. So that means we need to initialize that sum. Okay. So basically init sum. So third step is basically for loop for. Okay. So in this case, we can, it doesn't matter. We can add, we can iterate the list element wise or index wise. Okay. So for items, so I choose element wise in a list. Okay. All right. So the fourth step, not fourth step, 3.1, step 3.1. Now we need to check if, okay. So we need to check these two types, right? If, okay. So we're going to use is instance. All right. Is instance. If, so let's say, if item, so this is our plan, right? So item is not a number. Okay. Well, we can, well, we need to check for a number. Okay. Is a number. Then only we do the summing, right? So, okay. So 3.1.1, okay. Sum plus equal, okay, items, right? So that is it. So we return, the fourth step is return sum, okay? So let's implement this algorithm, okay? So get sum is, I already pre-written the function header and the docstring. So returns the sum of all the numbers inside a given list. So I'm going to get a list as parameter, okay? So let's do that. And I need to replace this with this code. So first one, I need to initialize the sum. So sum equals 0. Then for, right, items in a list, okay? So, right, and then if, okay, items, okay? So this is instant return Boolean value if they are Boolean true if the two types are matching. Okay, so basically we need to check basically if, okay, is instance, right? There you go, this one. And we pass our objects, items, okay, and we pass the class, okay. So in this case, int, okay, that's the type. And we not only, so this is just, we just covered one, okay, one type. So the other one is we need to cover both, right? The both has to be, um, not both, sorry, either of them, right? So O, okay, and the other one is float, right? Okay, if this is the case, right, sum plus equals 1, okay. So basically, this should have been like accumulate items to sum, okay. And at the end, we return sum, all right. All right, so let's check this out. So we're gonna go down here, okay, and so I already set it up, and I need to pass this list to my get sum, okay. And yeah, so let's try this. All right, so we got, so let's see, okay. All right, so we didn't get the proper result, okay. So let's see what's going on. So we got 3, it should be 6.5, okay. So let me go back. So this is part of the review, okay. So all right, so it was here, okay. So if it's instant item int or since item float, okay, right. So it's, oh, this is where I made the mistake, right? I just simply added 1. So this should be the items, okay. All right. So so we corrected that, and let's go back and check. So I got the correct answer, okay. So let's go back to our last problem, okay. Well, before that, we're going to learn about list comprehension, okay. And this topic is really, really important. And for those who are eyeing internship in computer science, or let alone to be a software engineer, you must master this comprehension if you want to be said as a Python programmer or Python software programming engineer. Okay. All right. So list comprehension basically provide a concise way to create a list. Okay. So the syntax is this. So it's concise. You'll see that there's a for loop inside. So it basically does the exact same thing that for loop iteration does. But in this case, we are creating new list. So don't forget that. So this comprehension creates a new list using another list or another sequence. Okay. So here's the syntax. Okay. So this two square brackets indicates that it returns a new list. We know that we learned this. This is how we create a list. Okay. So for basically iterate the sequence that are given to us. Okay. So basically to create a list using list comprehension, basically we need to have another sequence so iterable entity. Okay. It could be a container as well. So we use that. So that is this right here. And we use the for loop to iterate that sequence one item at a time. And this if condition, if there's an if condition, we can filter out based on a condition. We can filter out these items based on this condition. And it's optional. So you don't need to have this compulsory. Okay, rest compulsory. And once we pick that item, so in for loop, we do that. And then we use that item to, to create an expression. And then sometimes, basically, it's an expression run for how many items we pick in the for loop. Okay. So based on this expression, we're gonna create items in our new list. Okay, it's really important that you understand that it is based on this expression that we are going to create items in this list. Okay. All right. So expression describe how each element form. For clause iterates through each item in sequence. And if clause basically filter out element according to a criteria. So that criteria, if the clause is missing, basically we're going to consider all the element in the sequence. Okay. All right. So the next one is practice with list comprehension. Okay. So what's given to us is basically given a list of numbers, write a Python function named get powers to return the list of powers of a given power of each number in the given list using list comprehension. So for example, given the list this and power 2, our function should return this list, right? So we have 1, 1 to the power 2 is 1. We have 2, 2 to the power 2 is 4. We have 3, 3 to the power 2 is 9. We have 1.6, 1.6 to the power 2 is 2.56. Okay. All right. So let's go over here and then do the understand process for this problem. Okay. So it's right here. Oh, it's right here. Okay. Okay. So let me go to full screen. All right. So let's read it again. Given a list of numbers. So that means that's my input. Okay. You can write them or type them as you read. Write a Python function named getPowers to return the list of numbers of a given power of each number in the given list. All right, so it's a little bit long. So we have to, so this is the output, okay? The list of powers of a given power of each number in the given list. Okay, so that's our output. Okay, so we should return that. Okay, so let's try to digest this. Okay, so we are given this list. So a list equal, okay, this, okay. And what we have to do is we have to return, right? We have returned the corresponding power of 2. So 1 to the power 2, likewise, right? 2 to the power 2. So basically, 3 to the power 2. So basically, what we need to do is basically get the item and get the second power, given power. So basically, so this, if this is the power 2, I think this should be another, there should be another input, right? So the power, all right. So basically power, so in this case power is 2. When power is 2, we have this, okay. So likewise, okay. So that means basically we need to iterate the given list and pick each item, pick each number, and get the power, and then use the power operator to get the power, okay, and put them back in another list, right? So we need to return another list, okay. All right. Since we have for loop, and since we iterate using a for loop inside our comprehension, we can write our understand process and the plan based on for loop. And then it is the way moving forward with umpire method when it comes to list comprehension. Yes, list comprehensions are powerful compared to for loops. Okay, so there's an optimization going on inside. So the expert in Python have done that for us. So that's why trying to solve problem via a comprehension is better than the respective plain iteration problem. Okay, mostly. Okay, all right. So let's write our match. So match is like the previous problem. You can write it as a match. Okay, so get some. Okay, and the plan. So data is basically these two. So we need, this is the data we get into the function. And second step, okay. So let's write our algorithm as if we are doing this in a plain iteration problem. Okay. So we need to initialize the the power, right? So sorry, we need to initialize the output list. So right. So power list equals, so that's the initialization of a list. So it's empty. Okay. 3, 4. Okay. So numbers in a list. Okay. So write it like that. Okay. And now we are inside the for loop. So 3.1. Okay. And we need to basically get this number and get the power, right? So and then create the power, the number, and then we need to add this to the list. Okay. So add, okay, number to the power to our list. This is our algorithm, okay, through the code in English. And that's it. So at the final step, return our list. Okay. All right. So now we're going to take a look at this plain iteration algorithm and we'll write our list comprehension. Okay. So two things. So list of numbers and the power. So basically that. Okay. So let me remove that. Okay. And then basically it returns not the sum. So I think this should be return a list of, okay, list of powers, okay, in a list. Okay, and we're going to replace this. Okay, so it's a list comprehension. Okay, so here is that new list. If it is plain iteration, it would have been this empty list, but we are going to return a list comprehension. So, all right, so first write that square bracket, and I usually leave the expression. I'm going to figure out the expression at the last. I can write this for, right, this one, for numbers in a list. Okay, this one. So do I have a filter over here? No, I don't have a filter here. Okay, so I basically consider all the elements inside the list. Okay, so that means I'm going to omit the if part. So I have now all the numbers, and basically we're gonna create our expression over here. So the expression going to be this. Okay, so oops. Okay, so that's my expression, and this should be the power operator. Okay, so this should be numbers. Okay, so all right, and I need to return this, right? So don't forget that. All right, so let's check this out. So we're gonna go to the bottom and pass this list. Okay, and let's say the power is equal to 2. Okay, so we're gonna pass power 2. Okay, so run it. Oh, I made a mistake. List is get okay. So all right, so that means, yeah, I think this should be. I should remove that. Yeah, so that's the mistake I did. Let's put just, you can pass the list, right? Okay. All right, so you got it running. So for the powers, 1, 2, 3, 1.6, I got 1, 4, 1 to the 2 is 1, 2 to the 2 is 4, 3 to the 2 is 9, and 1.56 to the 2 is basically 2.56, and then this is because floating point rounding error. Okay, so we can basically neglect it for now. Okay, all right, so that's our this lesson 1, and we're gonna go over more on list in list lesson 2.